kids and sons of freshmen.
So exciting. I'm so
What
excited.
about the band? Someone's playing band. Hook him up and he's a drummer, percussion. So he went to the band and talked to him. He went to tryouts. He went to tryouts. So many more to add. Audition.
designers to do all this stuff, and then once we get down, I have people that are responsible, the professionals in the industry that are responsible for teaching the maneuvers around the field. And Dave is one of the best marching instructors in all of the country. Doesn't come very cheaply, but, you know, I give this discount, thank you. Very nice. we've done it for quite a long time. Okay, sir. That's our friend Dr. D right there. He helps us stay in time. So when we teach 250 kids how to march, this microphone or that thing right there makes our life a lot easier. So it's annoying. I apologize, but it helps us out. Here we go. March, march. What you see is at the beginning of the exercise, they do everything in unison, and then they break into the ABC components, and then you go to the end of the exercise, it's back in unison. 2, 3, lock and step. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you'll notice they're taking 8 steps between their guard lines. That's just mathematically the way the field works out, helps them learn their drill and step size. 2, 3, lock and step. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129, 130, 131, 132, 133, 134, 135, 136, 137, 1 Now, in band, it's important that whatever we can do forward, we can do going backwards. So we do the same exercise going back. And as Mr. Watkins said before about facing the field, believe it or not, it's about 10 times harder to do this exercise going back. So we're going to go ahead and do this same exercise backing up, guys. Ready?
This is backwards.
Mark, Mark. And the same exercise, everything as far as the numbers and the counts and the responsibility is the same going forward and back, except you, I don't think they made us walk around the ball, stop me, and back. So this is something that's not very natural. So this is the important part of our fundamental program. Man, home. Okay. Those are just things to do going forward and going back, and that's an integral part of what we do. We often spend a lot of time during day camp trying to refine this and teach this. These are our seniors. These guys have been around the block a few times, so you notice I'm not really saying a lot about what's happening in their lower body because they're pretty much doing it right.
I wanted to go to the other side, but you guys said no.
You were on the wrong side again.
First one. You'll see us in our red shirts out on the field today helping just as we do in having people in there to be right in the thick of things, coaching along, pushing, pulling, smiling, cheering.
No.
Thank you so much. I'd also like to take a quick moment to thank all the parents that
Take pictures.
your support for your children being here has been able to volunteer time to help feed us, to water us. Sounds like a bunch of plants. It was a very hot week and we're very fortunate, particularly with the weather today. But what also
Land entitled The Promise of Living. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous lyrical ballad. Third production, which we closed up our percussion feature, is from one of his soundtracks. He wrote 2 movie soundtracks. One entitled The Red Pony, and the finale after Red Pony goes back into fanfare for the common man as a surround. the typical Lassiter version. And the first movement for Lassiter production for the common man, you don't make it, take it with some moves.
Ellen is
So ready?
racist.
You tell me ready.
Like in the beginning, it's called the Burns. And like, I have him. And so we were like playing. Oh no, and she would play it. And we trying to do that.
Don't get nervous at all, angry, because the parents of video cameras that they take it over. They watch play T-ball, they know they were the first day or something, first play, so don't get nervous.
Okay, the show is about to start. There's our boy.
Okay, John's right on this side here. So get a good picture of him.
Brandon, yeah!
Nice sock! Look at that sock! Woo! Get one? Run up there and get one. I love those drums.
I know her from the age of my class. Yes, I'm sorry. I was decorating and I looked at my phone real quick and I saw like 10 missed calls. I was like, don't call me.
It's almost over.
I know.
We want to get our pictures.
Yeah, that's what I did. I just went home and I was like, I'm going to stay home more.
And Monica curled hers, and then as soon as she was there tonight, and it was just like, and then put hairspray on it.
You made me smile.
Look down over here at me. Mark's like, well, there's not much we can do about the mosquitoes. I go to clerks, I put around all day.
Did you take good ones?
I saw yellow paint.
Well, that was the big
Rachel,
stuff.
Yes.
Guys, the tallest estimate.
Rachel, y'all need to
Don't move. Y'all don't move because I'm going to have to switch.
The Lassiter Band is under the leadership of Alfred Watkins, Catherine Sanan, and Kara Moran. Tonight the band presents For the Common Man. Selections include Copeland Portrait, Promise of Living, and Copeland Finale. Drum majors Kristen Brown, Melissa Howell, Ashley Keish, and Chris McCarver. Are you and the Trojan Band ready? Lassiter High School Marching Trojan Band, you may take the field in exhibition.
the Lassiter High School Marching Trojan Band. Mr. James Carter is the principal of Lassiter High School, and we thank you for your continued support of this fine program.
Welcome to the 2005 Lassiter Football Trojan. Preparation. Please don't Highway 92 Checkham and the Super Walmart Shopping Plaza. Buffaloes, the senior party following the game. Buffaloes is at Highway 92. Patrick Harrigan. Brought down by number 45, Danny Carmichael. Gain of 7 and a first down, right about the 32-yard line. Number 33, Patrick Harrigan on that carry. Brought down by 52, Kevin Lamont. Gain of 1, second down and 9, Lassiter. Kevin Lamont on the stop. Gain of 1, third down and 8, Lassiter.
Band senior class of 2006. These students have led a tradition of excellence that will be remembered and credited for years to come, including their final performance in St. Petersburg, Florida, for the Bands of America Regional Championships. We honor these students and their parents this evening with appreciation, affection, and gratitude. In alphabetical order, from front left of the field, we begin with...
Oh yeah, you said it. No.
Sam Ahmed,
Damn.
escorted by his parents Tim and Cheryl Ahmed, and his brother Alan. Danielle Baskin and Mackenzie Baskin, escorted by Kathy Baskin, their mother. Ahmed Berry, his father Indra, his mother Kalapana, and his sister Ekta. Aaron Blood, escorted by Mark and Janice Blood, his parents, and his sister Jamie. Sean Bradford, parents of Jessica Bradford. Parker Branch, escorted by Tim and Clark Branch, his parents, and Cole Branch, his brother. Ashley Brooks, escorted by David Brooks, her father. Kristen Brown, escorted by Susan and Greg Brown, Kristen's mother and father, and her sister Andrea and brother Colin. James Brunone, his father Bill and mother Emily, his sister Stephanie, and future brother-in-law Matt. escorted by his father Dennis and mother Alice Champagne. Kelly Cheeseboro, escorted by Mrs. Rhonda Cheeseboro and Robin Cheeseboro, her mother and sister. Justin Chmielewski, escorted by Gail and Brent Dupree, his mother and stepfather, and Connor Chmielewski, his brother. Chris Conover, escorted by Bob and Cindy Conover, his father and mother, and Melissa Conover, his sister.
I've looked at these things 20 times, please.
Jeff Davis, his father and mother Harry and Joyce Davis, and his grandparents Boyle and Louise Davis, and Bill and Bo Morris. Austin DeNoble, escorted by David and Amy DeNoble, his father and mother, Logan and McKenna, his brother and sister. Carrie Ann Dulcico, her father and mother, her father Paul and mother Debbie, sister Erica, and brother Gregory. William Dwelly, escorted by his father and mother, David and Sally Dwelly. Josh Flynn, escorted by Sue and Tony Velarde, his mom and stepdad, and Austin Flynn, his father. Ryan Fortney, his parents Rob and Peg Fortney. Alex Hansel, his mother Love Hewitt. Christy Haynes, escorted by Christy's mom, Susan Haynes, and Christy's dad, Jim Haynes. Aaron Hedrick, escorted by Brian and Melanie, his mom and dad, and Luke and Jacob, his brothers. Courtney Hinkson, her father and mother Mark and Trina Hinkson, and her sister Kristen. Rick Holtz, his parents Linda and Jeff Holtz. Matt Johnson, Jody and Sam, his mother and dad. Jordan Kay, Zena and Murray Kay, his parents, and Amanda Kay, his sister.
Yes.
Tashina King, escorted by Mr. and Mrs. King, her father and mother, and Miss Angela Melinder, her aunt. Ashley Kish, her mother Janita Kish, and father Edward Kish. Brandon Moraldo, escorted by Peter and Pam Moraldo, mother and father, Brooke, his sister Ann, and Jerry Richard, his grandparents. Christopher McCarver, his parents, Nathan and Jerry McCarver.
The Marines are drum major.
Caitlin McLean, parents. Christina Mitri, escorted by her parents, Matt and Kim Mitri, and her brother David. Dane Edward Moore, escorted by his father, Eddie, his mother Cindy, and brother Kyle. Kevin Neese, Kevin's parents Mark and Robin Neese, along with two of his brothers, Eric and Keith Neese.
They moved to a new house, they moved to a new church.
Kristen Ogletree, Terry and Lania, her father and mother, Kelsia, her sister Paula Johnson, her godmother, and Brittany and Lindsay Cromer, her god sisters. Devin Pelly, escorted by Craig and Heather Pelly, his father and mother. Cassie Quisenberry, mother and father Daphne, Gable, and Corky Quisenberry, and sisters Alex and Samantha. David Robeck, escorted by John and Mary Robeck, his father and mother, and Rachel, his sister. Lauren Ross, escorted by her parents, Eddie and Karen Ross, her brother Colin, and grandparents Katie Lou and Leonard Hill. Lee Rutledge and Jonathan Lowe. Lee's parents, escorted by Lee's parents, Larry and Rhonda Eamon, brother Josh Rutledge, and Jonathan's brother David Lowe. Aaron Singer, escorted by his parents, Bob and Terry Singer, his brother Jack, and two sisters, Rachel and Hannah. Okay, Samantha Tello, Mr. and Mrs. Joe Tello, and sister Stacy Tello. Akil Marcus Thomas, escorted by Eloise Lois, and his favorite cousins, Erica and Adam Thomas. Nick Torsidia, Nick's parents, Lou and Peggy Torsidia, and his brother, Stephen Torsidia. Ben Trimmer, escorted by Ann and Todd Trimmer, his mother and father. Derek Tuttle, escorted by Brent and Evelyn Tuttle, his father and mother. Harrison Udine, his father Bill Udine, and his mother Susan Udine. Jonathan Watkins, escorted by his parents Alfred and Rita Watkins, his father and mother. Jody D. Willis, her parents Joseph and Marchanelle Willis. Brianna Woodward, her mother, Angelic Obie, and then Charlotte Winkler, her parents Chris and Nicole Winkler, and brother Andrew. Congratulations and best wishes to all the Lassiter Band senior students and their families. Thank you for your help in making the tradition continue.
You're gonna get one up for me, though.
Oh, she found her mommy. Look at him jive.
My name is Catherine Sonata, I'm the Associate Director of Band here. It's my great pleasure to welcome you here to Lassiter High School for our encore performance for the Lassiter Marching Trojan Band. This is the 2005 edition of the Trojan Band that you will see, and it's been an absolutely wonderful season. It's been a whirlwind season, and it's gone by very quickly. But we're so pleased that you're able to come out and see us tonight for our final performance of the year. Our football season has closed out, our competition season has closed out, and we're just ready to have one more look at for the coming year. Before we introduce you to some of the faces and names that put this band together, I'd like to introduce the principal of Lassiter High School, Mr. James Carter.
I too would like to welcome each and every one of you to Frank Tillman Stadium this afternoon, or should I say this evening, to watch what I consider one of the best events that you will see during the course of the school year, the encore performance of our Lassiter High School Trojan Band. Do know that these students work long hours. In fact, they probably put in more hours than the school principal. And as a result of that, you can see that their level of perfection only rises higher each day that you see them out in the front or even here on the field doing the things which have allowed them to be so successful in all that they do. I'd really like to say thanks to each and every one of the band directors, our roadies, our parents, and any other person or groups that have been supportive of the group throughout the course of the school year and really since the inception of the Lassiter Band. Again, it's a sight to behold if you're here on a daily basis just to see what these young people do. And above all, not only do they do a great job out on the field, as you will see later on this evening, but in the classroom, they're also doing an exceptional job. And as we talk about the classroom, I did want to take just one moment just to share with you not only the award that these young people have brought back to Lassiter High School, but also one in which the Governor's Office of Academic Achievement has also blessed Lassiter High School with. And I thought I would just share that with you. I've got young people over to my side holding up a banner that we've just recently received, as I mentioned before, from the Office of Achievement from Governor Sonny Perdue. And it's one where we as Lassiter High School have been awarded what's called the Bronze Award. And only very, very few schools in the state of Georgia receive this. It's all about President Bush's No Child Left Behind Adequate Yearly Progress Initiative.
Appreciation of your section leaders at this time. Let's start with our drum majors for this year: Kristen Brown, Melissa Howell, Ashley Kitch, and Christopher McCarver. So in alphabetical order: alto saxophones, Michael Melito, Josh Flynn, Aaron Hedrick, Brandon Moraldo, and Dane Moore. Bass clarinets, Daniel Baskin and Jody Willis. In the Euphonium section, Ryan Fortney and Ben Trimmer. Our color guard captain, Miss Charlotte Winkler. Senior leaders, Jessica Bradford and Cassie Quessenberry. Our percussion section leader for this season was Jonathan Watkins. The tenor saxophone section leader, Mr. Marcus Thomas. Our trumpet section was led by James Vernone, Aaron Blood, Rick Holt, and Kevin Neese. Barry sax by Nick Torsivia. The clarinet section, Christy Haynes, Allison Beasley, Abby Geiken, Rachel Isbell, Joanne McWilliams. The flute section, Brianna Oliver, Samantha Tello, Kelly Cummings, Courtney Kingston, and Kristen Murphy. Mellophones, Alex Hansel, Hillary Gray, and Katrina Rigdon. piccolo section, Ashley Brooks and Abby Eggers. The trombone section, Matt Johnson, Amit Berry, and Sam Allman. And our tuba section led by Katie Cahill and Devin Pelly. These students came in Wednesday mornings often and met me very, very early, 7:45 a.m. on top of the work they were already doing, just to come in, talk about what was going right, what was going wrong, and how they could make their sections better. They're really dedicated students. I'd like a round of applause for all of them. So next up,
High school students kind of like taking a retest on your work. You get a second chance to perform the show, and we came in first place overall. We scored a very, very high score, 89 points and 89 and change, just right at the 90 mark as we see it. And we had came in outstanding in the areas of music and general effect. So much. I hope that you enjoy the show. It represents a great deal of effort and growth that these students have from their first show. They come out and perform and are kind of, what we say, bumping into each other, kind of getting some of the notes to what is a finished product, a very polished performance. The best vantage point is at the very top of the stand. For those of you who can get yourself closer to the top, and you'll see it differently than those of you who've been helping out on the equipment crew that have been down the ground. You'll kind of see how all the shapes move and how one movement motivates another. And it's just really what we look at and we see the show and we just say it's just a genius of visual design. When you listen for where the melody is and you see the trumpets and the trumpets are right down front and the guard come down and they're right with them, and then the next... local school students that traveled with us to St. Petersburg that were already coming down to their families that brought in all these props that you see along the back. Great, and just a couple more announcements. You saw that the gentleman was here from Channel 11 News. He said to look for the footage that he took.
And now their heads are on. Everybody was. Here, Dave, can you try to take that?
No pressure, Dave.
I'm trying to take close up. Trying to close up.
What, a picture?
Yeah, the Colby. those fun trips, I like that.
I just want to try one.
open it?
No.
Zoom on and
of Lassiter High School. This is the class of 2006. This ceremony is meaningful and solemn in nature and represents the culmination of 4 years of scholarship, leadership, service, character development, and curricular achievements that have far exceeded expectations. These 480 graduates are extremely proud to be here, and they are also very honored to have you here to share in this experience. I do ask that all aisles be free of guests,
join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
This so happened to be my first year as principal at Lassiter. When they entered as freshmen, I was able to look many of them at eye level and even see the tops of their heads. 4 years later, they're looking at me eye level and down at the top of my head. As individuals and as a group, their dedication and perseverance to reach excellence and climb higher has been their signature for the past 4 years. Academically and athletically, these Lassiter students can and have competed with the best, and more often than not, have come out on top. Test scores in every category given them continues to rank in the top 2 or 3 of the 14 Cobb County high schools and far exceed test scores in the state of Georgia. Approximately 850 advanced placement tests were given this year, compared to 650 last year, resulting in Lassiter giving the second most advanced placement tests in Cobb County School District. The number of tests predicted to be given will be the most ever in school history. Earlier this month, Lassiter's math team came in first at the GCTM State Math Tournament. The 4 members of the team were selected for the 33-person all traveled to Chicago for the Midwest International Band Clinic and finished an astounding first in their competition. Athletically, Lassiter attained region championships in cheerleading, boys and girls soccer, boys and girls lacrosse, and also of our senior formal. How many remember that?
oh my gosh.
Yes, these graduates have had a great senior year, a very successful endeavors. Go forth, good luck, for good. Thank you. At this time, I would ask the Lassiter Senior Chorus come forward to share a song.
Ooh.
part of honoring our students for a job well done. However, it would not be right to be in this setting and not also honor the parents, the teachers, and administrators for all you have done to assure these graduates are receiving their diplomas today. And to the graduates, the diploma you receive today is somewhat like a key, a very special key that will unlock many doors. It will allow education. I hereby certify that the graduating seniors of Lassiter High School have met the high school requirements of the State Board of Education and the Cobb County School District and are thus entitled to all rights and privileges for completing these requirements. Mr. Carter, you may begin the presentation of diplomas.
Rachel Diane Busler with honor. Drake E. Butler. Edward A. Cahill with honor. Isabel Christina Camaro. Snell David Camaro. Stacy Erin Cameron. Natalie Michelle Campos with honor. Megan Eileen Carfang with honor. Mary Frances Carpenter with honor. John Edward Carter. Lindsay Gail Cavender with honor. John Tyler Champagne. Kelly Leveda Cheeseborough. Matthew Pasha Shea. Justin Daniel Chmielewski with honor. Caitlin Newell Saru with honor.
Michael Christopher Clark with honor.
You may now turn your tassels.